Welcome to hashtag 28 days of health. You guys, we are killing it. You guys are absolutely crushing it. I am in love with all of the hashtag 28 days of health that I am watching in your own Facebook page. I'm super excited with the number of times that you share the videos from this page, letting them know that not only are we a great source of education, but you are a great resource for education. And what we are creating together really is going to be epic for so many people. And at the end of the day, that's exactly what we tried to design. Something that would create community, something that would create well being, something that would create, a sisterhood, a brotherhood, a familyhood. So we're very excited about where we've been and what we're doing. In particular, with Kitty just logging on and saying hi. Kitty has not missed any of the hashtag 28 days of health videos. She's always here. She's always working with us and like really just giving us the thumbs up. So I want to give a big round of applause to Kitty for always showing up, not just for you guys, right, in her community, but she's showing up for herself. Very exciting to see some of our Pack Asia friends always being able to log on. Good morning to you guys. That's exciting. I hope that this is setting the right tone for your day, that this is setting kind of that mantra for you about that you are worth it, right? Taking some time for yourself, even a little bit of time. I want to remind you that is no small thing. Now, tonight's topic is a really popular topic. I have to imagine that the topic itself will want to be shared, redone, or well, we'll just say shared because the other words, well, they weren't coming to me. The idea here is that it's such a common concern that people have about healthy weight. How does that change in my 20s, in my 30s, in my 40s, and beyond, right? So tonight we're going to talk about the importance of muscle and metabolism and understanding that many of the tricks we had as younger individuals in our 20s and our 30s, they don't work after the age of 40 and they don't work in your 50s, right? We have to kind of redo or rethink many of the strategies that we have for healthy weight. Let's not talk about weight loss. Let's talk about optimizing your weight. Let's talk about healthy weight. Let's talk about understanding that for most individuals above the age of 40, healthy or optimal metabolism comes down to this. It's not, in fact, that you're over fat. It is that you are under muscled. Under muscled to perform many of the endurance activities that you used to. Under muscled to be able to maintain your hormones within a healthy range. Under muscle to keep your brain functioning the way it is supposed to. So there's our very first lesson. The idea that it's not just about inches or centimeters around the middle and the hips. It is also about the quality of your sleep because muscle dictates the quality of how your body sends out cell signals that would allow you to get a good night's sleep. The quality of your muscle and your body composition dictates the quality of the signals that are sent to your brain, not just for sleep, but for mental endurance, as I like to say. That idea of productivity, being able to stay sharp, well, much of that has to do with making sure that your muscles and your body move naturally and they do it on a daily basis. Just right now, do your own personal inventory. Do you spend more than 3 or 4 hours sitting in the same position, likely in front of a computer screen, in front of some type of paperwork, but definitely sitting down at a desk, and you're not getting up for hours at a time, right? Well, these are some of the reasons why weight gain in our 40s and 50s and beyond is this insidious thing. Because what do we always fall back on? I'm not doing anything different than I used to do, right? It's the same kind of thing. And many people will say, well, I've been sitting down at my job for a really long time. What is the difference between then and now? You have less muscle mass than you used to, because after the age of 30, most definitely after the age of 35, your ability to like maintain, not even gain muscle mass, your ability to maintain muscle mass starts to decline. And after the age of 40, it can be as much as 10%. Definitely by the age of 50, it's a reduction of at least 10% of your lean muscle mass over time. This starts to affect your bone mineral density, both men and women. I don't want that to be lost on the men. While we do see a decline in bone mineral density at a slower rate in men, we do still see it in men. You know what else we see in men of more mature years? Anemia. So it's one of these things where we want to pay attention to what's going to support metabolism. And these are some of the things I don't think get talked about enough when we start mentioning weight. Why? Because weight almost always defaults to or falls back to that default position of inches around the middle, inches or centimeters around the hips. Do I like the way I look naked? Am I able to perform activities of daily living, right? Or does my weight, my belly get in the way of me being able to tie my shoes, right? Do I now have this very unique way of tying my shoes because my belly gets in the way, or I don't have the flexibility, literal physical flexibility to bend, squat, to the range of motion to allow me to do those things. So if you have switched from tie-up shoes to slip-ons, right? This may be an indication that you're losing control of your metabolism, right? So the idea here is to focus on the fact that there is a big difference between 20s and 30s and 40s and 50s and beyond. And that what you used to do is no longer going to work for you, because you're simply seeing, whether you know it or not, a decline in your lean muscle mass as a result, not of being sedentary, although that's contributing, right? Because that's the way we want to arrest or stop the loss of lean muscle mass. Hormonally, metabolically, you're starting to decrease, and that's an age-related concern. So we need to turn the clock back on the aging process by moving more. So you're going to want to take steps to get up from your desk more often. I had mentioned that one of the ways that I stay hydrated is to use a smaller bottle, so that I force myself when I finish this bottle to go walk to a faraway water cooler, fill it up with the filtered water, and come back. That ensures that I'm going to get up on a regular basis and move my mass, right? So I'm at least going to get up and stretch my legs, and I'm going to send proper signals to my brain that I'm moving around. And that's a really powerful place to be. Take it away from weight, look at muscle, and then look at brain function. I definitely want to be sending the right signals to my brain. Along those lines, we should probably have a currency question, or a currency discussion, right? The cost of, this camp comes up a lot when people ask about the right diet. Can I do this differently? Should I go on this type of a diet? And I'll often say these diets do work for a limited amount of time, and then we have to adjust them. What we do find true in dieting is that you need to be cycling, right? You can't do the same thing each day. I talked about the spice of life is more than just a magnet on your refrigerator, right? We actually do need to change things up to add novelty to our metabolism. So what we're thinking when people go on diets, whether they're calorie restricted diets or another philosophy of eating, there may be a long-term cost to doing that, right? That long-term cost may be lack of lean muscle mass. It may be lack of brain function. It may be a reduction in some of the foods that create an anti-inflammatory environment. We know that plant-based eaters do much better with creating short-chain fatty acids in the gut from the amount of fiber that they eat. And that's really important when we think about the health of not just the gut, when we think about the health of the metabolism and how the body utilizes energy properly. also how it stores energy properly. So I want us to think about that. But that's a different currency than what I'm talking about right now. This is metabolic currency. Right now, if your 25-year-old self were to walk up to a vending machine and get out healthy metabolism, it would cost, just hit the button, right? And get out, you know, um, whatever our product of healthy metabolism. It's going to cost your 25-year-old self about 50 cents to do that, right? Jen Blakely talked about this idea of the age vending machine. Now, I've made up a name for it, but that's how he described it. Was at your 20 at in when you're just 25, what it costs you to do this 50 cents, as I'm saying it, is like super reasonable. Why did we think that there wasn't going to be some kind of metabolic inflation, right? Why do we think at our 45-year-old self or our 50 self that now that's not going to cost us $1 to get that same level of healthy metabolism, right? So one of the things that's really bared out in the literature is that we need to be as individuals above the age of 40 moving into the 50s, 60s, and beyond, that it's possible to maintain youthful metabolism. It's possible to obtain youthful body composition and hold on to hormones of a more youthful range. But it's going to cost us more to do it. It may be that cost may be in the quality of your foods, right? I mean, right now, you know that you can't get away with everything that you used to get away with, right? It may be in the quality of the way we spend their day. And that's really where I want you to focus, right? Because when it comes to the quality of your diet, just stop it, okay? Because you know better, right? You know you're supposed to be putting good foods in your face. You don't need me to tell you that, right? But if we want to go through a couple of the rules of healthy eating, this is kind of what it sounds like. If it's lean and green and colorful, you can put it in your mouth. If you couldn't put it in your mouth 100 years ago, don't put it in your mouth today. If you have to ask yourself for permission, then the answer is no. Those are some of the very simple rules. If it's lean and green and colorful, you can eat it, right? If you couldn't eat it 100 years ago, don't try to eat it today. And if you have to ask yourself for permission, if something gives you pause, then there's a reason why it gave you pause. So we know how to eat healthfully, right? So you don't need my help with that. Now, I will appreciate that some people do struggle with, well, wait a minute, isn't this a complex carb? And I say, no, that's bread. It's been milled beyond an inch of its life. It's been it's flour that's been reconstituted into bow tie pasta. No, that's not complex, right? I don't care what they put on the front of the label. So we can have those types of conversations in the comments down below if you want to. I want to talk more about how you spend your day. That's going to be a really powerful way to help you lose weight in your 40s and beyond. It will be the quality of your calories, obviously, but more importantly, let's talk about the quality of your day. Let's talk about the quality of your sleep. Let's talk about the quality of your thoughts, right? Because one thing that bears out in the literature with individuals losing weight after 40 versus how well they maintained body composition prior to their 40th birthday, or individuals that are way beyond their 40th birthday, is that stress plays an enormous factor in the health of their body composition. Why? Because stress and lack of sleep, so excess stress and not enough sleep, these are, and interestingly enough, when one goes up, the other one goes down, right? When the stress is up, sleep or quality sleep starts to go down. People seek out different things to help them sleep. Just today, I was asked about, will I sleep better if I drink alcohol? I just really need to sleep. I'm not much of a drinker, but could I drink? And I say, no, you'll actually have really crummy sleep. You may pass out, but you won't sleep, right? I might as well have just said, why don't you go get in a fight with someone and see if they can knock you out? You'll be out. You just won't be sleeping, right? So we need to appreciate like what's really going to be meaningful. So again, if you don't manage your stress, then your sleep quality goes down. So the quality of your thoughts, the quality of your interactions will dictate the quality of your sleep. And that ultimately dictates the quality of your hormones. Stress hormones definitely disrupt sex hormones. Stress hormones definitely disrupt hunger hormones and blood sugar hormones. So stress is going to be one of those key places we want to put our interest. Why do I bring that up? Because many people are still focusing on calories and not focusing on what's really influencing their weight after 40. So, stress in the literature is going to be one of those things that's going to get this pride of placement or this pole position. What are we really going to pay attention to? Less so on the idea of dietary um, composition, right? You can self regulate that you are an adult. So we're going to focus on things that feel much out of our control, like stress, if we want to do something about sleep. Now, I had a chance when I talked about sexual health and well being. If you missed that, go back to day 9. And because today is technically day 11, we have day 10 is the Wednesday night show. Day 10 was our Wednesday night. That's not true show. So if you go back to 9, you're going to hear me talk about sexual health and well-being. And I talked about a couple of adaptogen formulas that can be very beneficial for sexual health, for keeping our hormones within healthy ranges, including sex hormones. And it just so happens that they're doing double duty and triple duty when it comes to stress and sleep. So these formulas, these adaptogen formulas that have things like bacopa, rhodiola, these bliss anti-stress botanicals like ashwagandha. These are L-theanine, one of my favorite amino acids, right? These can be, put together in not just a synergistic formula like in the Bliss anti-stress or the ACTS, which is a weight management formula where stress is the reason for the issues of weight. What we want to know, in addition to them being put together in a proper formula, is that they also have proper ratioed amounts. Like it's not just that they showed up on the cast list, it's that they showed up in a proper order of a leading actor and actress in a supporting cast. So they're ratioed properly together to optimize and repair metabolism. And so that's important to know. What else is critically important in individuals above the age of 40 to lose weight? Their support network, right? And this isn't about having a partner at home, it's about having a connection to other people, people that really thrive after the age of 40 in maintaining healthy body composition and brain composition, quite frankly. Are individuals that are connected to other people, that have a social network. This social network does not take place on online unless you can be in in a format like what we are doing, where we can be visually engaged with each other, where we can have a conversation and make eye contact, right? So when I say social connection, I don't want it to be your Instagram. I don't want it to be your Facebook feed. I want it to be connection to other people where you get to have this kind of a conversation. This can, of course, be any kind of community that you are a part of, whether that is a fitness community, that is a women's group, a men's group community. It is something that you do with your religious and spiritual practices. Having connection to other people is very important for us to be able to manage weight and lose weight. Now, one of the things that I think is worth paying attention to is that many individuals above the age of 40 may not always be looking to lose weight. They may be looking to simply maintain weight. And the best way for us to do that is to not pay attention to the scale, but pay better attention to leg strength. Leg strength is one of those markers of longevity and healthy metabolism. So when your hamstrings and your quadriceps are able to do a good movement, good work for you, that's indicative of the health of your heart. It's indicative of the health of your hormones. It's indicative of the health of your brain. So there's something called a crisscross test. And this is something where you, and I will just see if I can do it here. But it's where you cross your feet and you go down and you sit without the use of your hands, and you get up without the use of your hands with your legs still crossed. That crisscross test is an example of leg strength. And so being able to do that is a way that you're able to measure your metabolic resilience, your metabolic flexibility, your metabolic health. Leg strength is really important. And the reason why it's holding on to a lot of those muscles that are ultimately your savings account for energy, for adaptation, for aging, and as well as connection to the brain, right? So we want to make sure that we're focusing on fitness factors, not just connection to our social networks, and not just about how do we regulate stress and sleep. We want to also make sure that we're paying close attention to what is meaningful in fitness. And it's not chug, 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 chug cardiovascular work, right? It's actually going to be resistant work. And the reason why I wanted to bring that up is because many people are not, like I said, looking to necessarily lose weight. They want to maintain their healthy weight. And the best way for us to maintain a healthy weight so that we can stay normal, optimal fat and not be under muscled is to make sure that we're doing some mechanical work with our bodies. We want to do it with good form. I mean, you should have someone that helps you do this and do this well. But that sedentary lifestyle, whether it just starts with little steps to make sure that you go and get your water and you step up away from your desk and you kind of stretch your knees and grease the groove and make sure that you're still staying flexible, or you move that into something more remarkable. And it's necessary. Again, we're back to that vending machine analogy. It's necessary for you to do something. The commitment, the cost, the currency level is going to be higher for you to maintain or gain muscle. Now, sometimes people say, I don't know where to get started. Is there one thing I can do? Because I agree with you. You're not going to change your diet just like that if that's where, one of your insulation factors. You may not be able to change your sleep habits just like that, especially if you've been abusing your sleep habits or your sleep cycle for quite a long time. It will take effort for you to move that clock, literally, the clock in each one of your cells back to its normal circadian rhythm based on the when the sun goes up and the sun goes down. So you're not going to fix those things immediately or overnight. And reaching out and being better connected to your social network, identifying groups that are within your interest. If this isn't has not been a priority for you, this will be important for you. And then identifying what are some of the small steps or big steps you're willing to take from a fitness standpoint. But there are things that my point being, those aren't the things that you change immediately. You don't automatically become an athlete. You don't start running 2 miles, right? So the idea here is, are there things that you could do immediately that could start to work to maintain healthy muscle mass as you age? Supplementation does play a role, but I'm going to fall back on this really important concept of age and muscle and metabolism. And that is the fact that your hormones are communicating with each other. And so making sure that you're properly eliminating those hormones, that you're breaking them down and ultimately getting rid of them so that they're not part of the cascade that leads to hormonal chaos. So detox is going to be one of the things I'm going to tell you that you could do immediately. You can get started with detox. Whether you want to go ahead and use like a 7-day cleanse, one that I focus on is something called the NutriClean 7-day cleanse, because it has a very unique fiber powder in it with inulin and a trademarked ingredient called Fibersol 2. It's a functional starch and it's a resistant starch. Now, I focus on that for individuals because most people are not, if they're not vegetarians, and I'd say even some vegetarians, are not getting enough vegetables to create those short chain fatty acids, those things that help us with energy harvest. So, what do I mean when I say energy harvest? Well, when you consume energy through food, your body has to decide what it's going to do with that harvest, right? It's either going to allow you to spend it because you've applied metabolic stimulation to the body, right? You exercise, you get up and move around, you stay mentally and physically active, or it's going to harvest it in a different way for storage later on. And that's what we're trying to avoid, is sending signals to your gut bugs to just store the energy that you consume, regardless of the quality of that energy. And so, fiber powders, specifically resistant starches, can be very beneficial to help you do that. In addition to that, botanicals that are cleansing botanicals. So, curcuminoids or turmeric is an example of this. Broccoli, cabbage, silymarin. These are botanicals that are frequently found in detox formulas or age management detox formulas. And I'm going to tell you that they apply very well to weight management formulas as well. Many of you that have heard me lecture in the past know that if I was ever stuck on a deserted island, I would want to be stuck with a product called Curcumin Extreme, simply because Curcumin Extreme is a perfect solution. It's a perfect formula for an aging female. Um, it doesn't mean that it's not right for men, but women have more to worry about when it comes to estrogen as they age and how their body metabolizes that. Now, men do worry about estrogen and how they metabolize it. This is why we worry about their prostate, while we worry about women's ovaries and their uterus and breast tissue. So curcumin is one of these products. It's very good because of the specialized ingredient, BCM 95, or curcugreen, as it's also known, that can help the body metabolize through many of these hormones properly. So we do what we're supposed to do with our hormones. We gain access to them, but we get rid of the ones that are no longer on the friendly side of the fence. Those that may lead to foggy brain or tender breasts or excess weight or reproductive concerns or issues with our reproductive system. So, detox is going to be one of the number one things that I tell you that you can do today. So, I'm a big fan of saying this is within your control. Start adding in those healthy, colorful foods, but what's within your control is detoxification to keep those hormones where they're supposed to be. Diet does matter. I don't want anyone to leave here thinking that diet doesn't matter. I'm just going to tell you that your stress habits, your sleep habits, your connectivity, your social connectivity to other people, and your fitness routines matter more today than diet does. Um, while many people are concerned to hear me say it, diet takes decades. A bad diet, a poor diet causes it's decades to cause harm. And while you may have decades behind you, I also appreciate that while it won't take decades to fix that, that's not, no one is ever served by trying to change 180 degrees. So if I can give you small steps, you're going to get small rewards, and those rewards are going to start to capitalize on each other, and you're going to start to see much, much bigger rewards if we do this in the right order. So, in my opinion, helping individuals lose weight, maintain lean muscle mass after the age of 40 doesn't start with diet. Diet's one of the major players, but it's going to really focus and pivot on your fitness factors, your stress, and your sleep factors. The way I can jumpstart all of that is by getting you through a healthy detoxification process. Women, if you are still menstruating, you should recognize, somewhere between the 11th day and the 19th day, you're going to want a lot more calories. So this is not the time to start a diet, right? If you track your cycle, this isn't the best time for you to start a diet. You'll just feel like you're a failure if you do it during that phase of your cycle. If you're a woman that has a cycle that's pretty long, meaning that it's not every 28 to 30 days, but you're getting closer to 35 and 40 days, right? I want you to pay closer attention to day 11 to day 22. of your cycle for that period of time where you're just going to be like, whatever, I'm eating it, right? I want you to know that because I don't want anyone to beat themselves up, judge themselves for those sorts of things. It's also not a get out of jail free card. It's not a, well, Dr. D said not to be upset. I don't want you to beat yourself up about it. I want you to be aware of it, however, so that you go, oh, I've got to find another place for to find some quality calories. It's fine. She said I was going to have higher hunger tendencies. So now I just need to plan better so that I have proper snacks for such a thing. Um, the reason why I think this is so important for your health and metabolic maintenance after the age of 40 is because what we really need to be doing at this point is problem solving. We need to find out what our insulation factors are. And too many people fail to problem solve and find the little ways they might be able to tweak their day for better health and instead give it all up. They say, nope, it's all or nothing. I either nailed it or I didn't, right? And really, we're going to be better served by figuring out how we can really problem solve so we can manipulate the quality of the way we spend our day with our thoughts, the way we move, our sleep, the quality of our proteins. I'm also going to let you know that where you carry your weight matters. If you carry your weight mostly around the abdomen, lower abdomen, then these are cardiovascular and blood sugar body types. If you are someone, even if you're male, that carries your weight in your hips, this is a more hormonal and estrogen body type. And so, for individuals that carry a lot of extra weight around their hips, both men and women, detox is going to be an absolute need for you. If you carry extra weight around the middle, then blood sugar control. So if you're thinking about supplementation to help you with weight loss, I'm knowing full well that an anti-stress formula, whether it's Bliss or Axe, right, is going to be of benefit to you. What you want to do next is identify if you want to kind of repair metabolism with the help of supplementation. If getting a good night's sleep is hard for you, then maybe supplements can help you do that, whether it's magnesium, L-tryptophan, those sorts of things. There's options there for you. I want you to focus on blood sugar health if you carry extra weight around the middle. And I want you to think about hormonal health and detoxification for a longer period of time than, say, a 7 to 10 day detox if you carry extra weight around uh, your hips. This is not just about looking better and feeling better naked. This is about a better night's sleep, which is so important for your brain. This is about keeping better body composition so that we can lower risk for metabolic diseases, support your heart, support your endocrine system. This is ultimately small steps that you can take that will anchor in routines so that what is easier today, right, doesn't get harder. Doesn't get harder in the future. At the end of the day, you're closer to your goal, right, today than you're going to be when we add extra years on. Metabolism does start to slow down if we don't give it the proper signal. Again, going back to that vending machine analogy, it's going to cost you more for that same metabolism, but it is also so worth it when we consider quality of life. You guys, it has been my pleasure to be with you tonight to tell you about some of the healthy tips to losing weight after the age of 40. Again, just like all of our nights, if you have comments, please put them down below. If you have not already liked our page, MA Healthy Living, make sure that you're doing that. Don't just follow us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and again, on your own social media feeds. Any step you take to move the needle towards better health, add the hashtag 28 days of health. Tag us at MA Healthy Living. Definitely spend some time on Instagram and know and like us there. Until I get to see you tomorrow night, go be healthy, go be brilliant.